Resume, Honorable Sangoni.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm not sure if Mr. McBride is ready. Okay, no, thank you very much, Mr. McBride, and let me thank you also, for the time that you have spent here giving your testimony. I think I did say yesterday it is an honor to meet you, so thank you so much for availing yourself. Mr. McBride, I think a lot of questions have really been canvassed. So I'm going to ask a few, but more than anything, I think I'm interested in just probing your thoughts on a number of things.
Okay.
Just the first one, in terms of the questions, do you regard yourself as rogue, Mr. McBride?
As rogue? No, certainly not.
Okay, yesterday you used a phrase, you said it was a juicy name, right? Robert McBride being called in. But I mean, given all of the, I think I read somewhere that you're probably the most suspended civil servant in the democratic era. What's going on there?
So my experience is the moment you reach and touch something that exposes corruption or touches on corruption.
That you, or alleged, that you authorized without the minister's approval an operation in Mozambique. Was that not the reason you were suspended then?
No, that's not true. The minister signed the authorization. The context was there was an attack by the insurgents there, ASWJ, Al-Sunnah wa Jamaat, is basically affiliated to ISIL on a number of places where South Africans are working. So South Africans had to run. They got dispersed all over the peninsula. There was a meeting of all the security cluster at OR Tambo, a diplomatic building, where the president and all the service heads addressed. We were tasked to go and find South Africans and repatriate them. We already had in place an agreement of operational cooperation between ourselves and the Mozambican, the first ever that was obtained. We therefore went to northern Mozambique, not me, the teams that went. And unfortunately, Maputo doesn't talk to Cabo Delgado. It's like almost two different countries, 3,000 kilometers apart. The result was that there were some hiccups there. And then later on, the guys came back, but we were able to reach people, repatriate them, and bring them back. Those that were in the bush. So everybody was accounted for. There was only one South African was killed, but long before we were deployed. The memo in which approval was given says immediate deployment to repatriate South Africans in trouble. And it didn't come from me, it came from the lower levels indicating it. On that Sunday when we met with the president, the minister signed and the guys were sent off.
Sorry,
and that was
McBride,
like
I'm going to stop you there. I mean, for me, it was just context. The matter has been dealt with. You're back at the SSA, right? Okay. Let's move from there.
Oh, there wasn't any consequence management on that issue at all.
All right.
And it was like 4 months after the incident, 7 days before the July riots that I was suspended.
Okay. You speak about political interference,
Yeah.
and I think your averment is that there is political interference. Now, political interference is one of the key issues this committee is trying to get to the bottom of. When General Mkhwanazi was testifying, we asked him about political interference, where he said there'd be no political interference, and I think one of the or two of the other generals, but you speak about it. So we're keen to hear, or let me put it this way. It seems anecdotal, right? That you would say Minister Ntleko interfered and therefore there's political interference. How does this political interference play itself out systematically? And I'm asking because it's going to be difficult for us as members of the committee to come to a finding of fact of political interference if we don't understand how deep it is. Now, if you say Minister Ntleko, I'm trying to think which other politician you would have mentioned in this proceeding. Somebody mentioned Minister Tetwa, I think. In your experience, how deep is this problem? How does it present itself? And how do you think it can be dealt with?
My experience is only based on IPED experience and what I was told about Minister Mtetwa, which I didn't experience myself. But Minister Ntleko, the way he got me suspended based on a non-legal document. That's number one. Number two, the fact that immediately after suspension, he came and addressed all the senior managers and spoke out against the judiciary, that the judiciary is, I can't remember, but it was recorded and forms part of the application, and then proceeded to rearrange IPED structure to serve his own purpose, including bringing Leon Mbangwa to sit on panels. So IPED's an independent body. Why is a chief of staff of the police there to appoint people in positions where vacancies don't actually exist? Yeah.
Okay, I hear you, Mr. McBride. Maybe let me put it like this. So you had that particular experience. Would it be your testimony that you think that the politicians who are deployed across the criminal justice system, which I'm sure would be what, 6, 7 at a time across the, they are regularly meddling in the operations of the criminal justice system?
No, I can't say that. I'm not sure about that. What I know is that there are two ministers who have to have some role in operation. That's your SAPS minister, but not in IPED issues, neither in GPCI. GPCI should move to independent. And your intelligence minister, because the intelligence minister must translate strategic direction immediately from the president and the cabinet to operations. So if there's a decision, we clamping down on, for example, your construction mafia or your narcotics mafia, then you got to move quickly and action that which has been conveyed to you. So you'd have to do it. It's not interference. Interference comes where you start deciding who must be appointed, and you decide who must be in what position, and you dictate who you want where, without any kind of due process of assessment. Yeah.
Okay.
So to answer your question, I don't experience as wholesale in the criminal justice system.
Okay, so your affidavit goes to quite a bit of detail, distancing yourself, from the PKTT issues, the arrest of General Kumalo, the allegations that General Mkhwanazi has made. I did say to you, I think a lot of the questions have been canvassed, so I want to get your view on a number of things. When you sit and you hear the proceedings based both in this ad hoc as well as Madlanga, what do you think is at play here? I mean, we're getting to a point where we're almost finalizing our work. Just about everybody who has sat in that seat that you see sitting on has claimed that the witness before them has lied and so forth. What is your sense of what is happening here?
At the PKTT,
The criminal justice system, SAPS in particular, and the fights that we are seeing and witnessing.
well, it is about patronage and control, or rather the other way around, control and patronage. You control resources, you control people. And if you control people, you can order them around, especially in a very rank-conscious environment. And they can do your bidding. And you can also you're untouchable because you can do something, no one will question you. So in terms of syndicates, the evidence is, I don't know who was lying, but I saw somewhere Kat Matlala giving testimony. Kat Matlala appears to be a symptom of the society, which if he wants to get something done, he pays for it. If he's doing a tender, he pays for it. Because it's come to the state where if you're stuck to get your tender your way, whether rightly or wrongly, you can pay someone to get done. Now, experience in townships about cases not being handled seriously is that sometimes people have to pay police to actually do their work, to investigate. And some others, they pay police not to investigate, to sweep things under the carpet. So the society's moral fiber has been erased. So in that process, the syndicate will feed off everything. We're not the first country to be in this situation. The issue of drugs and syndicates and control is all over the world. The issue of corruption within police service and abuse of funds is all over the world. But we need to tighten our mechanisms to deal with it. So that's it. So,
okay. Criminal intelligence has been accused of meddling, infiltrating, whichever word you want to use, in IDEC. And you are raising it within IPED as well. In the recommendations that you make in your affidavit, you don't speak about how you think that criminal intelligence should be reformed. I would have thought that, given your experience, now there's a view that says that there are people within criminal intelligence who are then moved, say, to IDEC, and from your testimony to IPED as well. Why is this so fluid? Why is criminal intelligence also seeming like some rogue thing happening there?
So the way I understand it is that IDEC is a new organization. It needs people who have experience from elsewhere. That's number one. Number two, I think they referred to, Padiachi or something in the testimony. Padiachi was retired or something and then was recruited, I think, during Advocate Cronier's time to come into the service to assist. If memory serves me correct, Padiachi was part of the investigation into the Toshan Pandey matter, and that's part of his claim to fame. So they were investigating the role of police officers working for syndicates, and they caught them on a wire discussing about killing Johan Boysen. So that's what led to that much disputed Act 70 that they got on that matter, which ultimately blew the case out of the water. But if people have experience, they are needed. So I understand that. So I would not necessarily see that as an infiltration. It's not like Homo or someone else, yeah.
Okay, no suggestions on the reform. You are touted as having wanted to be the National Police Commissioner. So how would you have reformed criminal intelligence?
No, I've never put my hats in the ring, ever. I generally prefer to work in smaller units that make impact that shows they punch far above their weight. That's my way. That's how I do it. I get results. And so in terms of way forward, my view is that the National Anti-Corruption recommendations to the National Anti-Corruption, I forget the full acronym now.
It's NACAC.
Yes, NACAC must be urgently implemented. And you have, I think, an overall body that deals with issues of corruption and that other corruption bodies report to and work under their supervision. In that way, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you have new energy dealing with that. So for me, that would be one of my main recommendations about the NACAC. I actually, at some stage, co-chaired the task team with Dave Lewis for a while, whilst I was at GPSA. And we got the process going to prepare the strategy. So I was happy when strategy was handed over to the president. Yeah.
Okay, I want to come back to these issues around General Patlana and Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. But before I do that, you've been saying, Mr. McBride, in your testimony, I mean, it's quite clear that you were unhappy with your contract not being renewed by Minister Ntuli. Now, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that your contract had expired. So if I'm not mistaken, there's case law that deals with the fact that once a contract has expired, it doesn't create a legitimate expectation for renewal. Why would you want to make out this expiry of a contract as if it was some sort of fight back conspiracy type of approach against you?
I understand what you're saying. Only because the subterfuge that was used for it. I had no expectation and did not ever claim an expectation and did not resort to litigation for that matter at all. There was no expectation of an extension. In fact, I asked about 9 months before to Minister Pele, do you intend extending or should I look for other work? He never answered me for a long time until I applied to DPCI. In DPCI, there were 4 of us shortlisted. Yes, can't remember the other 2, Libya and me. But the way I understood it, I was just there to give some credibility to the process because Libya already had a dispute with SAPS. And the only way to deal with the dispute was actually to appoint him someone. He was already over the age and all of that, but that is not an insurmountable issue. So I took my punch, I rolled with it, and that was it. So I didn't cry about it. Minister Taylor, when I confronted him about Cedric and Mabula's leakage of a document into the cash in transit task team WhatsApp group, he then mentioned, no, he somehow got the word that I had said to somebody that I was just there to make the process credible. In fact, he did say to me, you're a bit of a controversial figure. Is everything clear now? I said, yes. And he says, you sure? There's nothing came in the newspaper. And he kept on going on and on about it. As John Jeffries was...
Okay, you're digressing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it had expired, right? I'm worried though, because in your testimony, you said, Mr. McBride, Okay, right now you've spoken about the fact that you're trying to legitimize a process, but in your testimony you said, and I'm quoting the words you used, you were invited to apply for the ED iPad. Who invited you?
Oh, at that stage, I worked in the same subcommittee as Minister Mtetwa, and I would write some discussion documents for policy of ANC then. And it's as a result of the quality of my documents. You should apply to, you have this history, you have this background, you understand the stuff kind of technically, so can you please give it a shot? Yeah.
So what would you say to the other applicants who said that they felt that, you know, they were accompanying you, they were just used to legitimize the process?
Well, I don't think I could have been a favorite. I think there might have been others here. But I think after the process and the answers I gave, then I rose to the top.
So you've spoken at length about Paul O'Sullivan and how you believe that he was helpful to your cause around the General Phahlane matter. I think the committee, I mean, it's quite clear we don't agree with you there. But where I want to focus my questions, when General Phahlane was here, we haven't had an opportunity to cross-examine him yet, but when he was here, he presented evidence about a string of emails and basically threats that were made to him by Paul O'Sullivan. I remember we put a question to him that did his problem start before the emails or what? And he was of the view that he is now being targeted because he did not do what Mr. Paul O'Sullivan wanted him to do. So in your opinion, Mr. McBride, how do you regard the conduct of Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, who would send emails, send SMSs threatening a whole acting national commissioner of police?
Well, threats just don't go. They're just not on. And provocation might be good to elicit some response, but not threats. Threats, I don't agree with threats.
Do you not think that Mr. O'Sullivan's behavior was not just a threat, it even amounted to extortion, where when General Phahlane is not delivering on what Mr. Paul O'Sullivan wants, then suddenly there's this whole big investigation against General Phahlane?
I can't remember what the issues were, but it possibly can border on that, yes.
Okay, so also General Phahlane, because now you said you don't remember the issues, I want to remind you of the issues. He says Mr. Paul O'Sullivan wanted him to act against Mr. Munu or something in exchange for him not laying a complaint. Would you know who this means?
Yeah.
Who's Munu?
I know the matter. It's a matter that involved private litigation. And whilst an investigation was being conducted into people close to Munu and another lawyer. Someone reminded me last night about that lawyer. And because Sibia was investigating something else about them, I can't remember, it was money laundering or illicitly taking money out of the country. But Sibia got to be a target. So that was the background. And Sibia was still in Gauteng, Hawks. That was the issue before, I think, Ntuli came. I can't remember the year exactly. So that's what happened then, yeah.
Did IPID investigate? Mr. Munu was in the service, right?
Yeah, Munu was in SAPS. He was head of detectives.
Did IPID investigate Munu?
I'm not sure. There was an occasion when they looked at what Munu was doing, but the way I understand it was too complicated and not definitive. Yeah.
So the evidence before us, I think what it says, Mr. McBride, is that this Mr. Paul O'Sullivan exerted inordinate influence over the criminal justice system through IPID in particular, but also SAPS. Do you not think, given what perhaps you now know or your own experience, including what I think is you saying his conduct would amount to extortion of a senior, very senior, the most senior police official, you don't think that this Mr. Paul O'Sullivan poses a national security threat?
I don't think so. I think he's a guy, if he gets an answer, he feels great. How I avoided falling in a trap is by meeting him when the predecessor to IPID had said something bad about him. Yeah, and then I met with him, and then he was okay. Obviously, he likes action immediately, which is not viable in a country where there are a lot of things to deal with, yeah.
I'm sure you'll agree with me, though, that we can't have a man running around with citizenship of 3 countries threatening our senior police officers. I mean, I hear you. It's not illegal to have citizenship in 3 countries.
Yeah.
It would raise eyebrows if you're so deeply embedded in our criminal justice system and you have the power to actually threaten our top cops. That's a big risk.
Yeah, if it's a threat, it's not on. It's not a go. There should be. If it's a threat, it means intimidation, and intimidation requires an investigation.
Okay.
So I can't defend intimidation. I've been attempts to intimidate me a lot. I've been a victim of. So I won't okay intimidation.
Okay. I may have missed this question, and if you have already answered it, please just indicate so we can move.
Just one, the Honorable Sangoni. This man, what is his country of origin?
My understanding, he was born in Ireland.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and when he was 17, he left to England.
You can proceed.
Weren't you the High Commissioner to Ireland?
No.
You weren't? Okay. No, I'm not insinuating anything. It was just it is a question. So the question may have been asked, as I said, please indicate. General Pahlane says you approached him at his house. I think it was April, May. I don't know who was with who, and then he happened to bump into you. And then you said to him that the 2 of you should work together, and that he must be careful of Minister Ntleko and and General Ntlemeza, who you said was behind the attack on the both of you. Do you recall that? Is it an accurate version?
All of that conversation happened. It was very quick. One of his neighbors I had met and I was friendly with, but the neighbor family told me he had gone around the corner. He was in a golf cart. So I had to give him an envelope. So I arrived there and he was getting off the golf cart, and at the same time, Pahlane was coming out of his house. And Pahlane says to me, "Hi, Robert, this is the house that everyone's talking about." That's how he greeted me.
The crime scene.
Well, that's how IPID describes it. And if I'm pushed, I'll describe it as such. But anyway, we spoke about my response was, don't worry about it. You know, it'll sort itself out. That's how I spoke to him. So I don't remember talking about Ntleko to him and all of that. I don't know the guy. So that was my first time meeting him. And the second time I went to his office, when this investigation was up, for him to please help us with the investigation. So it was even though he was acting national commissioner, he maintained his office at the forensics lab. And when I arrived there, we spoke openly, and I then said to him, "Look, there's this investigation, but I need your help. Perhaps you have a different side about it. And if, we're going to need information and stuff." And he got really angry. So I left. I greeted him nicely and I left. I said, "If you change your mind, you can come to me." His driver, bodyguard, then phoned my investigators and said, why are you worried about investigating? Your boss is meeting my boss. There's a disruption issue. And then another time after he had done I think this is critical to tell you this. So he had done that counter investigation, and I then asked to see him, and I asked CBA to see him. Then he came to this restaurant lodge. I saw him there and explained to him, look, this is what's going on. What goes on between you and me is not right. And at the same time, I phoned Arthur Fraser, who's head of state security, to say, can you set up a meeting with all the entities who deal with security in the security cluster so that we manage our differences? Because every time I do something which is part of my work, Patlani says something in the media. So we called everyone. So Sean Abrams was there, Tom Moyani was there, Patlani was there. I can't remember, there was someone else there, and myself and Arthur Fraser. Fraser chaired the meeting, he gave us a presentation about some issue, but he responded very quickly, like 3 days. And Clemeza didn't come. And then we agreed that if there's differences between us, we shouldn't articulate them in the media. We should rather meet like this. And Mr. Fraser offered to facilitate any difficulties afterwards. So hardly 24 hours later, Patlani made a media statement. So the issue then there's 2 times I've spoken to him directly. So I went.
You're part of Stratcom. Were you part of Stratcom?
No, I wasn't. Stratcom's part of the apartheid police. I didn't want to bring it up. But all of those that were testifying, they come from apartheid police. That's where Stratcom was. Not with us in ANC, with them.
Okay.
And then targets they did was Mama Winnie Mandela and so on. That's what they did. They destroyed her life. So Stratcom comes from them, not us.
I feel like you're reading my notes, right? Because you keep saying things that lead me to my next question. It was testified here that political interference in the SAPS in particular started post 2000 Polokwane conference. Firstly, I want to know, I don't think you were in the system then, but whether your experience of that was true. And then secondly, Mr. McBride, I mean, you spoke about General Jackie Selebi. I'm keen to know, in your view, so there's the Polokwane question that I'm asking you on political interference, which speaks to the terms of reference. But what happened to the police men and women that would have been integrated? You were part of that process, would have been integrated into SAPS. There have been, views that says that after then National Commissioner Jackie Selebi left, there was a purging out of police officers who would have come from the liberation tradition. Has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, there's been different targeting right across the civil service, targeting of liberation movement people in abuse of disciplinary processes. That is my experience. So Minister Ntlego went for Ivan Pillay, Anwar Dramat and myself. I went for them, and all 3 of us have one thing in common. We're all MK guys, and not a party, the liberation movement.
A real MK.
They're looking.
You are protected, Mr. McBride, the real MK, yes. Please proceed.
Looking at me hard now. So that is, and we were people of integrity, all 3 of us. So I had asked a question when I went to see the leadership of the ANC, national leadership, at Ntuli House. And I asked this one, Minister Gwede Mantashe, why has he, this one, found it so easy to get rid of us? Now there's another question in there which I didn't want to say. And all Minister Mantashe said to me is, I'm so glad I'm not you. Okay, what must I do? And then you said you don't know how much SHIT we are in. I didn't understand it also. I just said, well, I've said my piece. I've done the responsible thing to bring this problem there. And it was ignored. And we were targeted. So there's something bigger than just targeting MK guys. There's people who want to write us out of history.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm running out of time because I would have wanted to explore that as well as, I know you spoke about it a bit, but your view on apartheid and corruption and the intersection there. But given the fact that I don't have time, it would be remiss of me not to ask you, because we're seeing Mr. Julius Mkhwanazi tomorrow. Now, you were at EMPD. You did testify that he was a superintendent or something of that nature while you were there. But I'm keen to find out, during your time at EMPD, and I'm sure that you've seen his testimony, did you observe any type of organized crime syndicate operating in Ekurhuleni municipality during your time as head of police?
I didn't see it amongst the officers and stuff. I didn't really see it. He was like a disciplined guy in those days. And what I did see is that at the financial level, when it came to tenders and stuff, I know of one instance, there are two instances. One is the swap of land. So someone was doing like a nature park, Meyersdal. It was a big story, even on one aspect of the litigation, went to Constitutional Court. But what had happened, it was...
Sorry, Mr. McBride. 1 minute. Ne? So you didn't see it, it's fine. You are in SSA responsible for special projects. Are you looking at this issue of our task force guys going over to private security and how that matter should be dealt with? Is it something that you're concerning yourself with, or you think you should?
It's something I know about and something we should look at. And yeah, so that's the issue. It should be looked at. Also, you start from the beginning, who you train. Why would some leave? Why would some not leave?
Okay, let me, oh, no, my minute is not still up. Okay. Finally, you said the playbook has been activated. I don't know if you remember the context of that when you raised it. You said the playbook has been activated.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just tell us what you meant by that?
Yeah,
What's the playbook?
It's already, there are simple issues of isolation faced by the country. For some reason, we're out of the G20, right? Just unilaterally by one guy. Secondly, there's the refugee story, which is a lie about genocide taking place here. The sanctioning of specific people or the threat to sanction them. The ability, fortunately, of some journalists to isolate who causes the panic in the country. We now know a guy who is, someone in Cape Town is the one who caused the panic of the genocide. I forget the guy's name. So there are clearly agent provocateurs creating an environment which we all start to feel things are falling apart. And that makes it more imperative for the security services to pull their socks up and get ready. The playbook has been released. It's came on. We are viewed, when we fight with each other, we are viewed by those observing us that they are weak and divided. And it's an easy takeover. You just get the right people in the right place and you'll get success. So the playbook's on. And therefore the responsibility in discussions is pretty
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Mr. McBride.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Ntuli.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson, and good afternoon, Mr. McBride. Can I suggest that we go back to the question that was the last question from Honorable Sangoni?
Yeah,
You were still expanding on the question of the playbook.
yeah.
Can I allow you time to say something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that?
There's at least 2 provinces, for whatever reason, have whose leaderships linked to those provinces spoke or suggested secession. And both provinces have strategic harbors and industries. So whatever gives someone who's a patriot the decision to talk about secession is very dangerous. And perhaps there needs to be more emphasis placed on the non-desirability of secession. We also face around us a number of countries collaborating about land claims in South Africa. And that hasn't emerged before. I'm talking about Lesotho wants Vicksburg, Eswatini wants up to Ermelo. The border with Namibia is now on our southern bank of the Orange River. It's no longer on the north or in the middle. In practice, that's what's happening. These are all small little signs. Hostile organizations are training different forces in these countries, whether it's police or whatever. There's a bit of an encirclement around us about these forces in place. We know, for example, the so-called Zama-Zamas, the irregular, unregulated miners. We've often found down there weapons of soldiers, and I've arrested a few soldiers from Lesotho down in the mines, and weapons that were given in the 80s to Lesotho by the old government. So the fact that this proliferation comes into our minds, so we look at, my own view is that the neighbors who would normally ask South Africa to help with training, they ask people who are not in the region to help with training. And our strategic position on the edge of Africa, with really nothing between us and Antarctica, and we join in the sea route of the 2 main Indian Ocean, and that makes us always be a target. And if the new pronouncements about their counterintelligence approach from America at present is that they will do what is necessary for them, throw away the international rules book.
Yeah.
It's setting a stage for.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
I think we can leave it at that point.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. Now I want to just come back to the issue that was earlier on raised by one of my colleagues, and that is the issue about that rendition case, the Spear Dramat matter, where I think you were saying on your statement they were badly implicated. What do you think was actually at stake? What are we dealing with on that measure?
If you could please repeat that, yeah.
No, I'm saying, if you remember on where you are discussing the rendition case.
Rendition.
Case.
Yes, sir.
Where you are discussing it.
Yeah.
In terms of how both Spear, General Spear and General Dramat were implicated. My colleagues have asked you questions about that, but I've got 2 questions on that matter.
Yeah.
The first one is, what was really at stake? Why? Because in your own opinion, and I think in the findings of IPIT, if I'm not mistaken, the conclusion was that they were wrongfully implicated.
Yes.
So my question, what was at stake?
My own view is they got in the way of a process to clean up the abuse of slush funds for renovations at former president's house. That investigation.
So the basis upon which they were dealt with in that way
Yeah.
is because of that abuse of secret fund.
And also because the crime intelligence are the people who made the statement against Sibia.
Mm.
So Sibia got knocked out. So they brought a former cop from the old system in Tlemeza, put him in charge of DPCI. And he had no clue about what independence and investigations mean.
Mm.
He was the bully. He did whatever he wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other question linked to that issue, the report that you signed 10, 15 days after you had assumed the responsibility of being the executive director of IPED, the report you signed,
Yes.
part of what makes that report to be distinct from the one that was in the office before your arrival
Yes.
is the geolocation of the cell phones as well as the analysis
Yes.
of that information.
Yes.
I know one of my colleagues dealt with the question of whether were you ruling out a possibility that somebody who is well versed with how things happen in the security cluster would naturally leave their cell phones wherever so that they are not associated with whatever actions they are going to be committing. So one of my colleagues was arguing that point against you, but mine is on a different approach.
Yeah.
What was the strength of this other evidence and what was it?
It was nothing. It was zero.
What was it? What was in that other evidence?
They said Sibia was there and he was in a BMW and he wore a gray suit. And that's exactly the same thing they said elsewhere. And there was discrepancies in the statements of the three witnesses about where this incident took place. And furthermore, it is crime intelligence that arrested the people. It's crime intelligence that handed over to Zimbabweans. And indeed, it is crime intelligence that got a letter of commendation from the Zimbabwean police, our crime intelligence.
Okay. Now, in your statement, Mr. McBride, you are saying that, and I'm going to quote it for you so that I don't have to do the paging. I'm just going to quote the context and then you will be able to answer my question. But it's on paragraph 27 regarding Mahlangu having a personal knowledge of interference with SAPS by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
Yeah.
You posed there on your statement, you say you posed and said, Mahlangu was subsequently murdered in 2020.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That he was murdered in 2020 after making
The context in the paragraph as you crafted it in that way.
What paragraph is it?
27 of your statement.
1 second.
The point is that you are saying he had a personal knowledge of interference.
Yeah. If you look at his statement.
By Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, and then you posed and said, Mahlangu was subsequently murdered in 2020.
Yeah.
What are you attributing that to?
Which, the murder or the statement?
The murder.
Well, there's someone who says a policeman paid them. I don't know who that is, whether the guy is a patsy. We might never know who killed him. The truth of the matter is Mandla was threatened. Mandla was dealing with sensitive investigations. And Mandla had made a statement implicating General Mkhwanazi. That might have not been had anything to do with his death. And also, Mr. Kuba recently made statements which are consistent with what Mandla Mahlangu said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is at the heart of the relationship between the two generals, Mkhwanazi and Phahlane?
They should explain. They came up together.
What does that mean?
They came up together in the old system. Yeah. And the career cops rely on each other. Yeah. Or they have an untoward interest in procurement at SAPS. Yeah. So it's a speculation. What we know it is, as to why it is, a different story. Maybe we'll hear it after the trial.
Okay. You seem to be making an inference. I may be reading it wrong. You'll tell me if I am. You seem to be making an inference about the view you hold about people who come from the old order in terms of them being career police, men and women. You seem to be having some negative inference to them, if I'm hearing you very well.
No, not really.
My question would then be, would that suggest that anyone who came from the progressive after 1994 should be deemed to have remained progressive even after 1994?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Both cases apply. That someone could have come from the old system and embrace the democratic order and constitutionalism.
And became loyal to it.
Yes, or the other way, someone who had those ideals and then got rid of them.
Completely
afterwards.
disloyal after 1994.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to be sure about that because I thought that is not scientific.
Yeah,
so I wanted
the issue of keeping the water pure doesn't always stay pure.
All right. On paragraph 40 of your statement, don't worry about paging, but if you can get it, it's fine. But on paragraph 40, you raise the issue that crime intelligence was influential in pursuing or framing some people.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is normal in crime intelligence to fabricate information about people in pursuance of their own narratives or agenda in society?
Which aspects, sir? Just on the crime intelligence?
I hope I recorded it correctly. Is it not paragraph 40? But the essence of the question, I may have missed my numbers because when I was working on your statement, I was working on the unsigned statement. I don't know whether when it was signed, Senior Counsel and Advocate Mkhize said there are changes on numbers. There are changes on numbers. Okay, so then in the signed statement and unsigned, I was working on the initial one we received.
Okay.
But the content is the same. The paragraph number may be wrong, but the question remains, I'm sure you'll understand, because it represents what you said somewhere in your statement. Yeah.
Can you refer me to the particular statement and the area you're interested in?
Okay. The problem is that I was working on an unsigned one, which we received first.
If you could just read it to me, then I'll be able to respond properly here.
Okay. Let's leave that question while Advocate Mkhize is trying to help me with that. I will come to the next question.
Yeah.
But the question that I'm leaving is where you are making references to crime intelligence playing or being influential in framing or pursuing some people. So it has to do with the role of crime intelligence in pursuit of some people.
Yeah.
But I want to deal with the next question where I think, Chair, I'm going to have a difficult problem, Chairperson Soviet, because I worked on the document we received first, and now the numbers have changed. The content has not changed, but the numbers have slightly changed. For instance, I want to come to what in my record was on paragraph 47, for instance, where you were saying, you indicated that Minister Ntleko undertook to have you, Mr. Sisoka and Kuba, to investigated and suspended. He undertook to have you and these others being investigated and suspended. So my question would be, what was the motive behind that?
The motive is one, he was mistaken and he had an agenda, hence his reference group. And so he obtained the so-called first report from Advocate Mosing instead of getting it from us. Even though we sent him our report, he ignored it. Our report and copy of the docket, because he asked for that. But that was now with the NDPP, perhaps unknown to Mosing.
Okay. There is an area where in your statement you are talking about prosecutors selected to conduct political prosecution. You remember that?
Yeah.
Who are the prosecutors?
Mahema, Mashoka, Mosing.
Those are prosecutors.
Yeah.
And who selected them for that political agenda?
I don't know, it's from the prosecuting authority. We just felt the effect of what they were doing.
Those prosecutors.
Yeah.
Who are they?
Mahema, Mashoka, Mosing.
Three of them up.
Yes.
In where are they based? Prosecutors
in Pretoria.
Division. Gauteng.
Yes, Gauteng.
The
But I
Gauteng
think they've
division.
all left the service or under investigation.
Hmm. And then the other area that I would like your comment on, will those prosecutors be the same as those that you are referring to as corrupt generals, corrupt prosecutors? Or there are others who are corrupt but may have not participated in this political prosecution?
Well, these ones, it's clear what they were doing because we've experienced it. And the fact that they are unable to use that, unable to prosecute successfully a case. There are others who are clearly corrupt, but they've been dealt with through other processes. And maybe the outcome will exonerate them. I don't know. But these ones, they're gone. They were involved in mischief.
Mm-hmm.
It was convenient. Crime intelligence fund is a lot of money. It's attractive.
I think somewhere, Mr. McBride, you made reference to Brigadier Tlo Homo. You remember?
Yes.
Was I reading it correctly that you were suggesting that he may have been infiltrated into IPIT?
Oh, definitely.
How did you discover that? Or what evidence at your disposal to confirm that?
But there's two issues. One, he ran away when I came back. And secondly, the panel that appointed him, there was irregularities on that panel. In any event, what is crime intelligence doing coming into IPID?
But he didn't appoint himself. So when you say he ran away, that's number one. And number two, when you say the panel that appointed him did something wrong,
yeah.
How does that amount to him being an agent infiltrated into IPID?
Well, if you're able to find a more reasonable explanation for the sequence of events, I perhaps could go with it.
And as opposed to which ones?
As opposed to the facts. He came in, he disrupted what was going on. When he went back to crime intelligence, he was disrupting the investigation. And we have a recorded conversation with him, with transcripts, with Mandla Mahlangu.
Yeah. Somebody amongst my colleagues asked you a question about the credibility of certain generals.
Mm.
Were you able to watch their interactions with the ad hoc committee. Let me just give you the generals that you were asked about. General Mkhwanazi, General Sbiya, in particular, let me stop there. Were you able to watch their interaction with the ad hoc committee?
I didn't watch all of them. No, I had other things to do here.
So you have not watched none of them,
I've watched snippets here and there. Yeah.
here and there.
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, I heard you very, very much convinced and very strong that General Sbiya in particular is a very, very highly credible police officer. And I was going to say, but if you watch the engagements between us and him, would you still make the same conclusion in terms of how he handled the issues before the police, his role as a senior police officer?
What I say is, the question was, from what you know about Sbiya, what is your opinion of him? Is he dependable? And I said yes. Whatever he portrayed when he was testifying here, I didn't see it. That's for others to make that decision. Yeah.
But Mr. McBride, I mean, you indicated in the, I think it's the first paragraph of your statement. You told us that you are a veteran of our struggle.
Yes.
And we know now that where you are currently located in terms of your responsibilities within the state.
Yes.
How did it happen that such a profound development as the one that we're engaged on, both as ad hoc committee and the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, you remain too busy and so much unbothered not to follow what the generals are saying on a matter that has got national security implications, and yet you are where you are located and you are a veteran of our struggle? How do you remain unbothered? I'm not going to watch what Mkhwanazi is saying in that other committee. I'm not going to watch what General Masemula is saying. Neither am I going to watch what General Sbiya is saying. But I'm a veteran of the struggle. I'm worried about the security of our country. And I'm located where you are located. But I choose to remain ignorant with developments that are shaking national security. How does that? How can we accept that as South African?
Well, the first issue is, for me, I see the entire 6th of July, 2025, a ruse to complain about PKTT being disbanded and Khumalo being arrested. That's what I see. So whatever else comes after that. Now, if you come and put McBride here to come here, I've got nothing to do with PKTT and Khumalo, so drop a juicy name. That's how I came here. And then you have Patlani to have a go at me, pleading his case before members of parliament, whereas he should be pleading in court. So for me, I'm not distracted.
So you were completely unbothered, like the rest of us in the country, unlike the rest of us in the country, in fact, to watch those developments and maybe make even much more better sense of what you think it is. Those are senior generals of the South African Police Service appearing before a parliamentary committee and a Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. And here is somebody like you, very senior in your own right, and located within a critical space of our security cluster. But just choose not to follow anything that they're saying.
Well, I've mentioned all of this in parliament before, mentioning the same people. I've mentioned this at Zondo Commission, mentioning the same people. I've taken it to the leadership of ANC, mentioning the same people. What more can I do? I've gone to all the powers that be. So me, I will watch.
When General Mkhwanazi was, not General Mkhwanazi, General Khumalo, Lieutenant General Khumalo gave evidence before us. One of the things that he said, he made reference, I think the same was done by General Mkhwanazi, a reference to an existence of some kind of a cartel in the country, which is somehow exist to undermine not just the security system of our country, but I would imagine the democratic state itself. What's your knowledge of that?
Well, generally cartels, they don't give themselves names and don't make themselves known. Many people who are doing the drugs are white-collar criminals. They finance it. They control shipping. They control imports and exports. Stuff will come in camouflage within other stuff that looks similar to it. So that's how it's moving. It's moving big. So that there's one single cartel doing it, it would have been blown already. It's the erosion of moral fiber of the country that makes people want to take chances. And that is not the fault of me. Probably it's not even the fault of those who want to take chances. This is the rules that they find. They didn't make the rules. But when the system is not functioning, people will take liberties. In experience, my experience, the problems in Eastern Congo and Northern Mozambique is the absence of state authority and presence in those areas. And then it allows for others to fill the vacuum. And that's what we're seeing here. Some of the townships, that's what's happening. So there isn't a presence. So someone else moves in.
So you in a way, you are also confirming that we can't rule out the existence of such cartels in our society.
No, you can't rule it out. So, I mean, let me just come up front and say it. The 6th of July 2025 thing, it did help and give an opportunity to expose a lot of the malfeasance. So that's what it did. That might not have been the intention, or at least that's my belief, but it did provide an opportunity to vent some of these issues. Whether all of those who vent are innocent of the situation we're in, that's another story. But everybody's contributed to it, because if a complaint was brought to you and you didn't deal with it, and you've got the involvement in weakening law enforcement processes, you put people who are not capable, like the whole saga for so long with the former General Richard Ntuli. That was unnecessarily long. It took place. So the control of police has been happening for a long time. If you notice in the whole presentation of General Mkhwanazi, he didn't mention Ntuli, where it started from. He didn't mention it. Now you can't leave out Ntuli in the whole thing of capture, control, of wrong control. You can't leave it out. If you're doing an analysis, you'll speak about it. You will raise the history, where it starts from. It doesn't just fall out the sky and suddenly we capture it. It's an incremental process.
What should we read of that? Exclusion of Mdluli's name on the evidence of General Mkhwanazi?
Quite frankly, you're the responsible person for making laws in the country. You decide what you must do.
No, but I'm saying, in terms of your own assessment, you are the one who's introducing a matter as you respond to my questions that General Mkhwanazi should not have excluded General Ntuli and what happened in the Ntuli saga. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now that the exclusion happened, what are you reading out of it?
Well, maybe you should address it if you're serious about things. Let's give us a history, or others who are experts in this. Give us a history of the erosion of public confidence in the criminal justice system. See the different decisions taken. Who took them when? Who was where when? It's I look at the issue of Minister Bheki Cele. He spent the longest in influence over the police service. A long time as minister, as
Commissioner.
national commissioner. So he had the longest influence in it. What was his role? Did he make positive impact or not? Was there negative impact? What was it? What can be done differently next time? If you want to put blame, you must also say what will make us not repeat this again. What do we put in place to prevent this from happening again?
Yeah.
And I would hope that's part of your mandate, which you must do.
Yeah. I want us to just to come to the last few questions I have, Mr. McBride. I think the first one would be about, and maybe all of them would be linked to that, is about the now well-known Mr. Paul O'Sullivan.
Yes.
A man that I don't know whether it was you or somebody else was saying part of what he brags about is to have brought down your fellow fighter for liberation, Mr. Jackie Sleepy. Would you say that you know that man very well? You know Paul properly and very well?
No, he's an associate of mine. I don't know him very well. I don't know what businesses he has, where he has businesses. And
So you don't know whether he has any companies, whether he's contracted to anything or providing any services, and whether those companies are functioning in line with our legal.
No.
But then, how do you make a decision that you are going to source some of his expertise, which you don't know whether they are in line with our legal prescript?
So I don't know his business, what other business he does. I know he does investigate. I know he has very lucrative clients. I know that he does similar work to what I was doing in private sector, but obviously on a bigger scale. But I know him as an associate, as someone reliable to provide information. The fact that he blows his own trumpet, that's another issue altogether.
But you don't even care whether that reliable information is bringing to you is through mechanisms that respect or disregard our laws. Doesn't matter to you.
If there's one instance where that happens, I will be first to be taking action and consequences. I don't participate in illegal things at all.
Yeah, because I'm asking because you regard him as a very credible person who provides reliable information.
He provides reliable information. I didn't say he's overall credible. I even use terms like he's Don Quixote or he's sometimes eccentric to describe him. That's how I find him.
Yeah. You know why? He becomes a person of interest because, for instance, in your affidavit, you make references to the reasons why he had accompanied your officers when they went to the house.
Yes.
And of course, what you say there is that he went there in order to show them the place, but equally to identify or introduce them to a certain witness that he had dealings with in the past. Am I right?
The crime scene.
The crime scene.
And the witness.
Am I right?
Yeah.
But we are aware that in the evidence of Sisoka, the one that Sisoka presented before the High Court on the bundle, this bundle that we're given today, you are aware that what Sisoka is saying is that he also typed statements during the interview of a certain witness. Are you aware of that? That actually what he went to do was not only what you captured in your affidavit, but the affidavit of your colleague, Sisoga, is that he went beyond just identifying the crime scene, but also taking the statement. Now, what is an expectee about taking a statement? Because the reasons why you rely on him on some of the information, the argument is that he had the capability that you did not have or that you do not have.
Yeah.
But taking a statement from a witness, that can be a speciality that is outside your members at your then members at IPID.
I don't know. Can you refer me to the correct paragraph?
The correct paragraph will
Of
be
the
found.
supplementary that's here.
You see, this is the affidavit. It's a court matter of between Pasane and you are cited as one
Yeah,
of the, yes. If you go to page 2 of that, page 4. I want to go to where Sisoga is making reference to what they did there. Advocate, please, can you help me with that? Where Sisoga is quoted to have said, or it's S-A-A-2. Towards the end. I want the quote. Yeah, the quote is somewhere. Oh yeah, it's paragraph 31.4.1
Of my affidavit,
of the small one, that other one.
the supplementary.
Yes, that one. So it's on page 12, paragraph 3, 31.4.1.
Okay, I have it?
You have it?
Yeah. 31.4.3.
Yes.
Okay.
What is being said today is that in addition to all that they did, they also assisted with taking a statement from the witness.
So my 31.4 is Mahlangu's statement.
No, it's the one I'm talking to is Siseko.
31.4.1. Okay.
31.4.1. The paragraph is starting by saying 16.1, while the team was reporting directly to me. You see that paragraph?
The one that starts, while the team was reporting directly to me, and even after I roped in Mr. Kuba
Yes.
to be the project manager, at no stage did any private individual, including Mr. O'Sullivan,
Just hold on there.
was ever allowed to oversee the investigation.
Yeah, just hold on there. The second paragraph then says, I'm informed by the then lead investigator, Mr. Mahlangu, that Mr. Paul O'Sullivan did assist the investigation team at the initial stages of investigation by accompanying them to the place there, the estate, including typing statements. You see that paragraph?
Yes,
Typing
yes,
statements.
yes.
Why does he have to go such an extra mile, including to type a statement? Because I'm sure your team is capable of doing that.
That's his statement. They should explain. But at the end, there was never any instruction from the executive director, me, that IPID investigators must work with Mr. O'Sullivan or that they must give him information
I get that point.
obtained as a result of the investigation by IPID.
I get that point, but the point I wanted you to comment on, and that's my last point. I know the time is, I'm left with 2 seconds or so. The point I wanted to drive home, Mr. McBride, is that it does not seem to be that all that which he was able to do is what you understood from the beginning. Because this is an old court paper where your subordinate was saying, more than showing us this crime scene, also help us to craft a statement
Yeah,
from the witness.
yeah.
So that is the level of his influence on the work of IPID.
Well, I would presume you're not saying they fabricated something.
I'm not.
Okay.
But I'm just saying it may very well mean, this is what I'm going to say then to my last point. It may very well mean that more than what you told us and what he says here, Sisoko,
Yeah.
there may be other things that neither you nor him have actually told us,
Chief Whip.
which is the involvement of Paul O'Sullivan in your
Chief,
iPad.
Chief Whip. Chief Whip. Skhosana. Honorable Skhosana.
Angizolicederela le point phela. Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Mr. McBride.
Good evening, sir.
Can I ask to play a clip about Paul O'Sullivan speaking about you? Can you? It's only a minute before I start. Is it ready from the technicians?
We have a clip you want to play.
Yes, Chair, please.
You want us to watch television?
Yes, it's only 1 minute.
Okay.
Thank you.
And McBride got his job back. The week after he got his job back, I met with him at IPID and I said, come, we've got a corrupt chief of police now. What are you going to do about it? And he appointed a task team and they got on with it and dealt with it. And what I did in the first few weeks of that task team's activities, I sat with them on a regular basis and gradually handed over all the evidence that I had gathered over the previous year in order to leapfrog them into the position where they were then able to go after Pashlani. And Pashlani, as you know, was arrested and charged with corruption and is still on trial now. And that was Paul O'Sullivan, by the way, that put all that together with IPID. Of course, I put it together and gave it to IPID. I don't have a power of arrest. I can't go knocking on Pashlani's door and arrest him. IPID had to take that over.
Thank you, Chair.
Who is the
Yes, I think honorable members and the public at large, they know about Paul O'Sullivan. And the witness before us, Mr. McBride, know Paul O'Sullivan very well. I just want to find out from you, why are you allowing someone who's not employed by IPID to do your job? For me, from where I'm sitting, you gave Paul O'Sullivan IPID on the silver platter. What will be your answer on that?
Well, that's not true because, as I said earlier, Paul likes to put a feather in his own cap. He likes to make himself the main man. But his information was accurate. And his information which lit the fire, which later on led to further investigations and forensics reports, is what took Pashlani to court. Pashlani is in court, is accused, is out on bail. That's the facts.
I understand that, but for someone to be on bail, you know, the court might do, you know, he might be acquitted. No one knows whether he'll be found guilty or not. Am I right?
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
That's true.
there's serious allegation about O'Sullivan that he's a MI6 spy. And if we allow him to disrupt our law enforcement agency, if you remember, since the time of Jackie Selebi, who was our former national commissioner, may his soul rest in peace. And you remember that we had, you know, some people, and I as well. If you remember, Glenn Atlosti, if Angloti, if you remember him, Glenn Angloti, you remember him? Glenn Angloti, you remember him? He bought shoes for our former president, Tauta Bombeki, and embarrassed the country at that point in time. Now, we are back again today. We have someone like Paul O'Sullivan, who's embarrassing the country, who's boasting about being in charge of our security agents. My question to you, because we are occupying a serious position as we speak here. Are we safe? Are we safe? Because hence I said earlier that IPID is in the hands of Paul O'Sullivan as we speak here. He knows everything. With a lady called, I think Honorable James spoke about that
Yes.
lady. We are still going to go there. But really, I can't imagine you with your struggle credentials working with the European. I mean, for me, Paul is a European anyway. They used to call that, you know that. Even on the bus station, we're not supposed to sit with them. On the bus station, even on the trains. It leaves a dark cloud hanging over you as a person who's employed by the state. You know, that is what he's doing against Patlane. Same applies with NPA, NDPP, opposition, SARS commissioner. The history is endless. He's boasting that he's in charge. I mean, when it comes to the national commissioners, that's what he said, he'll deal with them. And he said you must establish a task team, Patlane task team, and that was done. Am I wrong?
What is the question?
The question is to you, I'll repeat again. Are we safe with you serving in that post which we are serving in the state security agents? Because of what you did with iPad, giving Paul O'Sullivan iPad on the silver platter.
Let me ask a question like this in response to you. What would MI6, as you allege, want to do with IPID, which is an anti-corruption body? What information they'd want to know from us? We have no secrets. Our information goes to court and people are prosecuted. So what would they want from us? Logically, tell me, what would they want from us?
Let me rephrase it for you. Is it right for you to give information to Paul O'Sullivan for him to know what is happening at the IPID?
No, it's not.
Thank you. Let's come to this issue of a house of Patlane House. Remember, we spoke about, I think my colleague, Honorable Shongwe, before the chairperson stopped him, he was talking about the Mandla Mahlangu's house and in Savannah,
Yeah.
right? And you said it's a family, yes. And Mandla was working with you.
Yes, indeed.
And I think my colleague asked the value of his house, that you went out to Patlane's house and there was Mandla here. And I think he asked that a normal civil servant, can he afford to build a house like that? Not necessarily a farm, a house.
Well, I don't know Mandla's background. He had a wife that works also. He had brothers who were apparently in business with him with something. I don't know what the background is. But
And
he was not shy to take us to his place. And as we saw the place coming up from the foundation little by little.
now, do you know Patlane's background?
Except what he tells us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, do you know, or beside what he told you?
You mean whether he has businesses and taxis?
I don't know. Hence, I'm asking you. Okay, Chair, noted.
Are
It
you,
was your employment
No,
status when you
Honorable
visited.
Skhosana, are you not responding to the question, Mr. McBride? He has asked you the same question that he asked you about the late Mr. Mahlangu. May his soul rest in peace.
So what is the question, Honorable Chair?
No. Let me give you context.
Yeah.
When he asked you about his background, you said you spoke about his brothers or
Yeah.
yeah. So he asked you the same question about Mr. Patlan, and you kept quiet. Are you able to respond to that question? Whether you know any of his brothers who is in business, or if he had inheritance from his grandfather? Do you know that background?
I heard something along those lines, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard something, but I didn't put any inquiries in. There is a departments in different departments that check on matters, yeah.
You can proceed, Honorable Skhosana.
Thank you, Chair. Before I get into this, why you didn't investigate Mandla Mahlangu? May he so rest in peace as well.
Why didn't I investigate him?
Yes, like you are doing with Patlane.
There was no evidence of him receiving money in bags.
There was nothing.
No,
So the house, you didn't suspect anything.
no, I saw him in the beginning building the house from scratch, brick by brick, weekend by weekend.
Okay. Let me put it to you. I can tell you categorically that the house which is alleged to be 8 million is worth 8 million is fallacy.
It's a fallacy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The house we are talking about, not far from Sabi Hills. You know that there's Purple Rock, no, not far from it.
Oh, no, I don't know the area at all.
The area there is in a Camel Reef
Don't know
area.
the area.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not divulge more details about
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
people's residence.
Thank you. What was your employment status when you visited Patlane's house in April, May 2016?
At that stage, I think I was on suspension and I was looking for alternative possible business opportunities because I had been in private sector. I got pulled back into the service and I was on suspension.
But you went to his house, or
I didn't go to his house.
I'm coming to that. As you said that he greeted you and whatever, we are coming to that.
I went to someone else's house.
Yes, yes. You said that Patlane testified here that you came to his house when you were invited by John Smith, who is now deceased, and may he so rest in peace once again. Am I right? Was he right for General Patlane to say that to us?
I did not visit General Patlane. I visited
John Smith. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You said that Patlane must work together with you to deal with those that do not like good people. Your reference to Mr. Ntlego and General Ntlemeza, among others. You promised.
Denied that.
No, let me finish, Mr. McBride. I'm almost there. You promised that you have the backing of the media, which is useful in dealing with people. Did you say that to Patlane? That's what he told us here. Are you denying that?
I'm not the most favorite person in the media.
But, I'm going to reveal that to you, that maybe you are not, but you spoke to a lot of them. You know what Honorable James gave us?
Yeah.
Is there when you and inverted commas, I don't like that, but I have to say it, Mr. McBride, your girlfriend, because here it's clear, the conversation between you and her, it's romantic. There's a romantic relationship with Sanet.
And presumably that's illegal.
Yeah, it's fine. No one says that it's illegal. Maybe your wife will say so. No, not me. I can't judge. I can't judge you, and nobody can judge you on that. Now, who are these media people? The people you were referring to? Why is it important for you to use the media in your battles? One of them is Paulo van Wyk. On your conversation with your girlfriend, there's Paulo van Wyk mentioned. There's many of them. I'll mention to you once I get to that. But what I'm asking here, I'm asking you, who are in the media? The people we are referring to.
Who are in the media?
Who are in the media you were referring to that they will help your cause to fight your battles.
For me, my engagement with media is media statements and sometimes interview or press conference.
Only.
Yeah.
Thank you. Phahlane testified before us that you were the first one to send him a message when you said the offer still stand. That was after that Spa incident. What offer were you talking about?
Or the offer for him to cooperate with us.
Yesterday in your response to the evidence leader
Yeah.
question, you testified that it was an offer for him to become a 204 witness.
In essence and inevitably, yes.
Do you stand by the answer you provided to the question asked by the evidence leader?
Absolutely.
You were on suspension at the time when you made that offer as you return according to your testimony, October 2016, 4 months after the offer. How do you offer somebody when you are suspended?
Which offer is that and which stage it was made?
No, there's the same offer you said that you wanted him to cooperate.
So there was no Phahlane investigation before I came back from suspension. There wasn't anything before. So sequence of events are very critical.
The first known case from his evidence and his testimony was that defeating the end of justice.
Yeah.
Case investigated by Nkabinde. Do you agree?
Say again?
The first known case from his evidence and his testimony before us here was the defeating the end of justice case investigated by Nkabinde.
Yeah, I think in Nkabinde opened a case.
So why was there a need for a 204 witness without any case Phahlane was to answer to?
Well, usually what they do, and you would see in some of the other cases, when the heat is on, they send feelers out from their lawyers to switch sides. All the arrogance goes out the window.
Now, let's go as well to the issue of Mabula team. I think you've spoken in length about Mabula team. Am I right?
Yes.
You have placed before this other committee that Mabula team is comprised of criminals. Am I correct?
No, I said at the stage, they were called up to counter IPID investigation. I stand by that. And there's a judgment that says they shouldn't do that.
Do you have the names of those criminals in that Mabula team? The names?
The names of the?
Mabula team, those who are criminals in that team. Or all of them, they were criminals.
No, that's not what I said. I said people died in their custody. I still stick to that. People died in their custody and some were allegedly tortured. But people dying in their custody, it happened.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, you said in that Mabula team, it's compromise of criminals.
No, I didn't say so. I said they had the issue of having had people die in their custody and others being, one was by torture, by the way, other one was shot in the back while he was handcuffed.
Are you aware that the so-called Mabula Notorious and the rogue team was cleared of all the charges of kidnapping, extortion, assault, torture, and many more in the Johannesburg High Court?
On one of the matters, my understanding is that the NP is still appealing, but yes, I'm aware of that.
Following the closure of this state
Not
case,
the High Court, it was a magistrate's court.
yes, the magistrate court.
I think so, yeah.
No, it's High Court. It's not the magistrate court.
With the acting judge.
Yeah. Yes. Following this closure of the state case after 6 witnesses testify, a Section 174 application was argued by the defense, which was granted by judge of the High Court in Johannesburg. They were found not guilty and discharged on all charges. All these cases were open after Temane, Binang, Mandla Mahlangu, Sarah, Jane Trent, Paul O'Sullivan, including yourself, and Rapis were arrested. Am I right?
I was never arrested by them.
No, I'm not saying you were arrested by them. I'm saying to you, after all of you were arrested, the names which I've mentioned here.
Mancha Rapesa was not arrested. I was not
No.
arrested.
Yes.
He
Now,
was targeted because he was investigating the tortures and murders.
is this coincidental that you then talk about the counter investigation when you refer to the Mabula team?
Absolutely, they're involved in county investigation, and there's a judgment about that they're not allowed to do it.
Sissoko and Kuba were, according to you, were unlawfully dismissed during your time on suspension. Am I correct?
Yes,
They returned to their office following your return, and they continue to serve in their position in the public service. Am I correct?
that's correct, yes.
Now, was that job which they returned to advertised, or you just picked them up and brought them back to the system?
There were court processes that reinstated them to the jobs.
Please outline the process followed and your role in that return to them employment in the position in the public service. And I just want to find out from you, are you certain that no law was broken in reinstating them?
Absolutely sure. That's one of the complaints Cedric Nkabinde put into the PSC, which was unable to substantiate.
Now, I'm going to, because of time as well, I just want to make a follow-up before I go into what Honorable James was on, and my colleague here about Ntleko story here. In response to a question to Honorable Mwango on the appointment process, I want to close this. You've veered into a reference of Brigadier Tema, who resigned and was later appointed by Pasane to a general's position.
Yeah, Major General.
Can you tell me about this?
And was fired for racism.
He was,
See,
she was fired for?
racism.
Now, let's come back to, I don't know where to start, but I said to you now, that is, we have to go to the issue of Ntleko now. You and Sarah, is it correct for you to have asked an ID number of a cabinet minister?
It's not necessary. The ID numbers are available on, all your ID numbers are on the list of parliamentarians.
I understand that. What was the objective of you getting the vehicle of a minister registration?
You are talking about the documents Honorable James had. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm coming there. I'm asking about Ntleko of my colleague now.
If I told you those documents come from another country,
It doesn't matter where they come from, unless you deny all these things. If you say no, it's not true, then I'll understand. But as things stands now here, is that you and Trinette, you said Ntleko wants to get rid of you,
indeed.
and then you then send.
Lots of people that told the court also.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, then you send his ID number to your girlfriend, who said that he will deal. You should not worry. Paul and you will deal with Ntleko.
I deny that.
But it is on your WhatsApp. It's your conversation between yourself and your girlfriend.
No, I deny that. Where does that come from? From where does it come?
It's from your phone. Your phone number is here.
No, my phone number can be there. It can be jippoed.
Now, but
You had evidence about that here in this place. This comes from another country.
Yeah, but Mr. McBride, you agreed now, not long ago, when I asked you You said there's nothing wrong of getting an ID number. I said to you, Ntlego was your boss. He was the minister. You check on him. You send the ID number of your minister. Hence, I was saying to you, you handed over IP'd to Paul O'Sullivan on the silver platter.
No, I didn't.
Now, you even went further to get the title deed of his house and the vehicle ownership with your girlfriend. Now, Paul's daughter, I don't want to talk about kids, which is unfortunate, but he's here. Now, I'm going to ask you once again, have you done so or not?
Have I done what?
All these things I'm talking about. ID, searching Ntlego because he wanted to get rid of you.
I didn't need to search for Ntuli.
No, but here, your conversation with your girlfriend, say so. It's evident.
What is purported to be my conversation?
So are you denying all this?
Well, until I know what the source of that is, you cannot put things before me that I've never seen.
Now, you said, remember, you spoke about things as well. I don't want to go there because we won't finish. Now, so, I must ask once again because I want clarity from our witness. His conversation with Sarah and Paul O'Sullivan is clear. And I think Honorable James made it very clear as well. Now, I just want to check from Mr. McBride.
Yes.
That are you denying this? All this juicy stuff? The theater on the square in Sandton. I miss you dearly. The trip to Swaziland, a trip to a villa, because you were once concerned about Sarah that, you must not go for a camp because the snakes in Kruger there, in Mpumalanga. And then she replied to you to say you should not worry. She'll be using Rupert's villa. And I know this place as well.
Okay, good. I don't know.
Is it true or is it not true?
I always advise people now and again that in case they go camping in summer, this is the dangers. I'm an outdoors person myself.
Now, because you don't want to, in fact, we are not denying, am I right?
Denying what?
What I've put to you.
95% of the truth is not the truth.
So you're taking us back, Mr. McBride, to say immediately is not immediately.
Sorry?
You are taking us back to the issue of General Sibia to say immediately, sense of code. Immediately is not immediately. We are saying now 90% is true, 90% is not true. What does that mean?
I'm not part of PKTT or its disbandment.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But I'm saying too, when you say 90% is true, 90% might not be true. What do you mean?
This is an old Stratcom thing. You and me, we meet somewhere, like we meet on the roadside, in Mhlanga, for example.
Yes.
What was our conversation about? People say these two are meeting. And then someone suggests, no, Skhosana tried to recruit him for MK Party. Will that be true?
I always do. I always recruit for MK Party, yes.
No, I'm just checking.
Yeah, I just want to put you on easy on that one. If somebody says so, I'm very happy. Coming to the issue, of Sarah Jane Trinet. Do you know him? I mean, do you know her?
Very well.
Is she your girlfriend?
No, she's not.
Then your misbehavior, what does that mean? Cozy.
My misbehavior.
Oh, okay. Now, you described like the chief whip was asking here, and I think you responded well on that, but I want to emphasize on that as well.
Yeah.
Knowing that yesterday when I wanted a clarity, if you remember, I've spoken about, do you hate Pahlane? Do you hate General Mkhwanazi? I used the word mythology, and you said no. You don't hate them, because for you, for me, from what I was hearing from you on your statement here, is that all the people who appeared before us, they are all bad. All the good people are those who are associated with you. What would your response on that?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say bad things about Sibia. I didn't say bad things about even Khumalo, except what I knew about him. But Mkhwanazi, from statements other people made, and Pahlane also, and I don't hate them. The law will deal with them. And your words were pulverized. I don't want to pulverize anybody. Anything outside the law, I don't want to do. If it's a law, I'll do it. If it's a constitution, I'll do it.
Yeah, but what you've done by giving Paul O'Sullivan, I'm still saying that once again, IPD on a silver platter is wrong.
I still say, as much as you insist, I say that didn't happen.
Do you know where Paul O'Sullivan is now?
I don't think he's in the country, but he always turns up with surprises.
So in other words, you're saying he might be even in the country as well.
He might be knocking on Parliament's door tomorrow to give testimony.
Why was it important to you that Mkhwanazi didn't come to a funeral? I'm going back there. Hence, I'm saying the issue of him not attending the funeral.
I said it appeared to be inconsistent.
Now, I'm going to put it to you that you have misled us yesterday, that Mkhwanazi did not attend the funeral. Do you agree?
No. I verified again, I checked yesterday, and people in the tent or at the cemetery did not see him anywhere. If he was there, he was hiding somewhere.
Let me put it to you, Mr. McBride.
Yeah.
The brother who you said you know him,
Yeah.
confirmed that he knows that Mkhwanazi and his wife attended the funeral. From day one, when you said he was among the first people or the first person to be on the scene, from day one, the preparations until he was buried, that funeral, General Mkhwanazi attended with his wife. So you say you don't agree with us on that?
I didn't see him.
No, for you to say you didn't see him, it doesn't mean that he did not attend that.
Oh, then he must have been hidden far away.
Yeah, but the core committee as well, as you know, they'll get evidence because Mkhwanazi is coming back here anyway.
That's fine.
Paul O'Sullivan leaves his country and fight crime in South Africa for nothing. In your view, do you think that he's doing that for nothing?
I think fighting crime and corruption in South Africa has cost him more than anything else.
Now,
he's been taken to court, there's been litigation against him, so I don't see it as him getting any benefit out of it.
Now, you've been as well talking about credible people that you trust.
Yeah.
today I was surprised because you are a freedom fighter. That freedom under law, where Judge Kriegler sits, you trust that foundation, that's a civil society foundation. Helen Suzman Foundation is unlike you. ASAC, freedom under law, and many, many, many more who are sponsored by Rothschild, Rubet, and others. And let me tell you the game plan. And you know it. They are against black professionals. Hence, they come to court as a friend of the court. You look, if you look at the trend, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But today, you reminded me, one of my colleagues said here that if you agree as well, we agree that Andre Johnson from iPad is like Winnie Mandela.
It's like Winnie Mandela.
Yes.
In which sense?
That she's a strong woman. She's credible.
No, it's a different issue, completely different.
No, I'm asking you, do you agree that she's a Winnie Mandela kind of a person?
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
Not even close.
No, it's different types of people.
You know Winnie very, very, very well.
Very well.
You know Andre Johnson, you don't know her.
Sorry?
You know the IDEC boss.
No, I don't know her.
You don't know her.
No.
So you worked at as a security, crime intelligence, because you are among those who are intelligent in this country. But you say you don't know Andre Johnson.
I know who she is. I've seen what she looks like, but I don't know her.
Now, you mentioned prosecutors here. You said Miami, and on your conversation with Sarah Jejanet, you mentioned that you were not sure whether was it Miami or Mlotshwa, but because the prosecutors between those two, your girlfriend said it's amazing. You've got the right prosecutor. Let me put it to you. Do you believe that some prosecutors are corrupt in this country?
I imagine there are. I think there's even evidence to that effect.
The three which you've mentioned, whether they're still there is another case.
I don't know. The behavior was, if it was not corruption, then it was carrying out an agenda inconsistent with the Constitution.
Do you know Prince Mkotedi, who used to be the Hawk boss and in the LPA?
He's a guy who makes up stories.
He makes up stories.
Yeah.
Were you discussing with Paul O'Sullivan over his fate?
No.
No, but there's correspondence between you and your girlfriend there about how are you going to deal with him and journalists.
Well, the issue is to deal with him for lying without a statement about the matter. I challenged him to do a polygraph live with me on TV, and he backed out.
Now, what surprised me, Mr. McBride, is that all those who were with you in court supporting Paul O'Sullivan was Binang, Kabinde, Sisoko, AfriForum. Are you friends? If not, what were you doing in that court?
Which court was this when?
The case of Paul O'Sullivan.
I told you before, I don't remember appearing in court where Paul O'Sullivan was.
No, but you are in the video there. I remember yesterday you said that you don't remember, but the fact of the matter is that you are on the video there.
I've seen the video and I don't remember it.
So you want us to play that video?
Yeah, let's play it.
Okay. But if I remember, you agreed yesterday at last that there was a case around 12 in the evening, am I right?
No, I didn't agree. I heard someone saying it.
Yeah, I'm saying today, you agreed today to Honorable Nomval.
I agreed what?
That you were in court. You said you don't remember, but eventually you agreed that you were in that court.
I've got no memory in my mind about attending a trial of Paul O'Sullivan.
The video will come now.
Okay.
Chair, with that, how many minutes? Issue a minute. I reserve that for a video just to prove to you that Mr. McBride attended the court case of Paul O'Sullivan.
At your age, you should see the watch better than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only 1 minute. Thank you, Chair. You might even get to someone, once it's finished, we can put that video as evidence as well.
Yeah, now it's 2 minutes past 8. Your time has expired. Can we have honorable